Yes, folks, that cringe-worthy creep Justin Trudeau just got elected again. And for the life of me, I don't understand why. Well, actually, I do. Conservatives tend to believe that people will vote for what's right, what's best for a country. But that is irrelevant when it comes to the left. They vote for me, me, me. They vote for what they can get for themselves personally. Now, in Canada, they didn't care about the blackface stuff, as they are racists themselves. And they didn't care about corrupt Trudeau, as they are corrupt themselves. And you will notice that Clinton is not whinging about the popular vote when it comes to Canada, because the Conservatives won that. Anyway, the bottom line here, folks, is this. Democracies around the world are failing because of corrupt politicians and their supporters, primarily of the left. People who are only interested in power, getting what they can get for themselves out of the system. Anyway, today I'll start this off with corrupt, cringe-worthy Trudeau.
But first, let me get some foreign affairs out of the way just quickly. News that you won't actually get anywhere else. First, for instance, history was made today in Canada. Canadians have just re-elected their first black Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, of the left-wing Liberal Party. Or, then again, maybe they have just re-elected their first Indian Prime Minister, who's again, Justin Trudeau. Or maybe they've re-elected their first Sikh Prime Minister. Or maybe their First Nations or Canadian Indian Prime Minister. You know, I guess it really depends on what dress-up box was in Trudeau's office at the time. Now, how Canada re-elected someone who's simultaneously so woke and so culturally cringing, yet so hypocritical, I mean, Prime Minister Justin Blackface, that to me is amazing.
And that's an understatement.
Then again, to say that as one is perhaps a little bit too flattering. Trudeau's Liberals won just a third of the vote this time, losing around 20 seats, and they'll have to form a minority government with even more left-wing parties. So don't count on Canada to resist the culture wars, not under this chameleon.
Anyway, now to Stefan Molyneux, who says it best, or at least for the most part.
It's one of the reasons why Conservatives keep losing is that they think that there's some moral arc to the story, and there's not. So this has really taken the mask off, you know, nice Canada and benevolent Canada and Canada the good. Because, of course, Justin Trudeau mired in scandal after scandal. I put a whole list of these on Twitter, and you can check them out if you want, but, I mean, it was really, really crazy how he just kept handing these scandals to his opponents, but people didn't care.
Yeah, I assume he means liberal people.
People didn't care about the blackface. People didn't care that he was the only Canadian Prime Minister to be found guilty of 4 ethics violations. They didn't care about him handing out money to the Clinton Foundation, to Haiti, to flood relief in Palestine, to promote abortions around the world. Well, a lot of Canadians don't even have access to a family doctor. People don't care. They don't care. They don't care about SNC-Lavalin. They don't care about Admiral Norman. They just don't care about these things. What do they care about? Well, they care about continuing to get their equalization payments. The Unifor, the union representing Canada's journalists, cheered about all of this. We stopped cheer. I mean, they want the $600 million. The mainstream media wants the $600 million. The immigrants want to continue to sponsor family members to come in and get access to free Canadian health care. And people just want what they want.
You can see he's clearly talking about liberals there. So why doesn't he just say liberals?
And politics is an amoral means to achieve their goals. Now, there's a lot of pretty dress up, and there's a lot of, you know, all this move forward garbage and all that kind of stuff, which just is testament to just how terrible the Canadian school system is, that somebody can achieve close to a majority government with a vapid, useless slogan like "Move forward." But there's all this pretty dress-up of ethics, but ethics has nothing to do with it. Politics has been famously described as the art of the possible. What can you get away with? And yeah, you can get away with massive corruption. You can get away with telling veterans that you just don't have any more money for them and then go and spend $200,000 on Caribbean vacations. You can get away with, Justin Trudeau spent $17,000 to fly an Indian chef to India to prepare Indian meals while he was in India. Because the guy was there's a famous celebrity chef, I think in Vancouver. The guy was just a Liberal supporter. So, you know, here's a free vacation for you. I mean, the guy nags everyone about climate change, and his campaign had 2 private jets. Come on, I mean, it's all silly, right? So once the mask is off and people understand that politics is about power and about getting what you want, then we can, well, not me, I'm an ethicist, is why I'm not in politics. I can see it for what it is, right? So because it's just about power, people don't care about the blackface. I mean, Barack Obama ignored Joe Biden, his former vice president, and has refused to endorse Joe Biden, but probably because Obama is implicated in Biden's son's dealings in Ukraine and other places. But Barack Obama has refused to endorse Joe Biden, while at the same time, Barack Obama endorsed blackface-wearing Justin Trudeau. Come on, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild stuff. So it's just all about power and about what people want. Why did the Atlantic provinces go so liberal? Well, a lot of them get these equalization payments, which is a giant welfare scheme thrust on Canada in order to bribe the provinces originally into joining Canada. And Alberta is largely footing the bill, which is why Alberta and Saskatchewan are seriously thinking about getting out. I tweeted last night, Alberta is majority forest. I think it's like 61% forest. It's like, run, forest, run! So they're thinking of a Wexit, like a Western Canada exit. And, you know, from a values and fiscal standpoint, you know, it's funny because they say, well, the country has never been more divided, and they sort of put that blame, it seems, on the Conservatives because it's a left-wing media. The country has never been more divided. It's like, well, of course, the country has never more been divided because you keep importing people who are going to vote Liberal.
Now, I think Molyneux was right there about power, but I don't understand why he referred to people in general. Now, I understand Liberals wanting power for personal gain, but I don't think true Conservatives are the same. They want power for the national interest. Now, the following is a classic example of power for personal gain.
The ayes to the right, 329. The noes to the left, 299.
There it is, the first time the House of Commons has voted yes to a Brexit deal. Relief for the PM, but this just the first hurdle.
The noes to the left, 322.
Falling at the next. Just minutes later, the Commons rejected his breakneck timetable to convert his Brexit deal into law. But the deal's not dead yet. He can have another go if he wants, but he won't get to set the pace.
I make this offer to him tonight. Work with us, all of us, to agree a reasonable timetable, and I suspect this House will vote to debate, scrutinise, and I hope amend the detail of this bill.
A glass half full, the PM toasting his qualified success.
Let me say in response, Mr. Speaker, how welcome it is, even joyful, that for the first time in this long saga, this House has actually accepted its responsibilities come together and embraced a deal.
But he knows the Commons has put the brakes on his do-or-die Halloween Brexit.
I must express my disappointment that the House has again voted for delay, rather...
Yes, folks, that circus that has been going on now for 3 years in the UK Parliament is a classic example of people in politics for personal gain. The globalists in that chamber are ignoring the democratic will of the people for their own gain. They know they will be irrelevant in the new Brexit world, so they are desperately trying to save their own butts.